Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Aditi Lumba with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asked farmers to come to the table for talks to find a solution, assures MSP and Mandi system to continue. Prime Minister says new world order is being shaped post-COVID and it is for the people of the country to decide whether they want to take the lead in forming the new world order. The Prime Minister asserts powered by spirited public efforts, India committed to reduce carbon emission intensity set in Paris Agreement. Chief Election Commissioner reviews poll preparedness in Chennai, also to visit Puducherry tomorrow. And in Uttarakhand, massive rescue and search operation continues in Chamoli district. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said the public sector is essential, but the role of the private sector is also vital. He said the private sector's role can be seen everywhere, including telecom and pharma. In his reply in the Lok Sabha to the motion of thanks on the President's address, the Prime Minister said if India is able to serve humanity, it is also due to the role of the private sector. He said the agriculture sector will not be strong if investment and new technologies are not brought. He stressed that there is a need to go beyond growing only wheat and paddy. The Prime Minister said the culture of abusing the private sector is no longer acceptable and this is akin to insulting the country's youth. He said he is surprised why people are asking what the need for the new farm laws was, since farmers never asked for them. He said no one demanded law on dowry and triple talaq, but laws were made as they were necessary for a progressive society. He pointed out that after the laws relating to agriculture were passed by Parliament, no mandi has shut and MSP has also remained.
ये देशवासियों के लिए है। अगर कोई निर्णय करते हैं तो किसानों के लिए है, लेकिन हम इंतजार करते हैं, अभी भी हम इंतजार करते हैं कि वो अगर कोई चीज स्पेसिफिक बताते हैं और अगर वो कन्विंसिंग है तो हमें कोई संकोच नहीं है। ये ऑर्डिनेंस के द्वारा ही 3 कानून लागू किए गए, बाद में पार्लियामेंट में भी पारित हुए। कानून लागू होने के बाद न देश में कोई मंडी बंद हुई है, न कहीं एमएसपी बंद हुआ है। इतना ही नहीं, एमएसपी की खरीदी भी बढ़ी है और ये कानून नए बनने के बाद बढ़ी है।
He alleged that those who are disrupting the house are doing so as per a well-planned strategy, but their lies will soon be found out by the public. He appealed to the farmers to come to the table for talks so that a solution can be found. He said the Lok Sabha as well as the centre respects the farmers who are voicing their views on the farm laws, and this is why topmost ministers of the government are constantly talking to them.
आंदोलन कर रहे सभी किसान साथियों की भावनाओं का ये सदन भी और ये सरकार भी आदर करती हैं और इसीलिए सरकार के वरिष्ठ मंत्री जब ये आंदोलन पंजाब में था तब भी और बाद में भी लगातार उनसे वार्तालाप कर रहे हैं, किसानों के प्रति सम्मान भाव के साथ कर रहे हैं, आदर भाव के साथ कर रहे हैं और इसलिए लगातार बातचीत होती रही है। बातचीत में किसानों की शंकाएं क्या है वो ढूंढने का भी भरपूर प्रयास किया गया और हम मानते हैं कि अगर इसमें कोई कमी हो और सचमुच में किसान का नुकसान करते उसमें बदल करने में क्या जाता है जी।
He added, a new world order is being shaped post-COVID and it is for the people of India to decide whether they want to take the lead in forming this new world order. He said India has emerged as Atmanirbhar or self-reliant during this pandemic.
कोरोना के दरमियान भारत ने जिस प्रकार से अपने आप को संभाला और दुनिया को संभलने में मदद की, एक प्रकार से टर्निंग पॉइंट है। जिस भावनाओं को लेकर के, जिस संस्कार को लेकर के वेद से विवेकानंद तक हम पले बढ़े हैं, वो है सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः। ये सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, ये कोरोना कालखंड में भारत ने इसको करके दिखाया है।
He said India cannot be a mute spectator anymore but has to emerge as a strong powerhouse. The Prime Minister said the world post-COVID is turning out to be very different and remaining isolated from the global trends in such times will be counterproductive. He stressed that is why India is working towards building an Atmanirbhar Bharat which seeks to further global good.
आत्मनिर्भर भारत इस विचार को बल दे और ये हम मान के चले, ये किसी शासन व्यवस्था का विचार नहीं है, ये किसी राजनेता का विचार नहीं है। आज हिंदुस्तान के हर कोने में वोकल फॉर लोकल सुनाई दे रहा है। ये आत्मगौरव का भाव आत्मनिर्भर भारत के लिए बहुत काम आ रहा है और मुझे विश्वास है कि हम सबकी सोच, हमारी नीतियां, हमारे निर्णय भारत को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के लिए जो भी आवश्यक बदलाव हो, उस बदलाव की ओर होने चाहिए, ये मेरा मत है।
The Prime Minister thanked doctors, nurses and COVID warriors and called them manifestations of the divine who strengthened India's fight against the global pandemic. The Prime Minister thanked the large number of women MPs who took part in the discussion in the Lok Sabha. He said President Ramnath Kovind's address showcased India's Sankalp Shakti and his words have boosted the spirit of confidence among the people of India.
राष्ट्रपति जी का भाषण भारत के 130 करोड़ नागरिकों की संकल्प शक्ति का परिचय है। विकट और विपरीत काल में भी यह देश किस प्रकार से रास्ता तय करता है और रास्ते पर अचीव करता हुआ आगे बढ़ता है, ये सारी बातें विस्तार से राष्ट्रपति जी ने अपने अभिभाषण में कही है। उनका एक एक शब्द देशवासियों में एक नया विश्वास पैदा करने वाला है और हर किसी के दिल में देश के लिए कुछ करने की प्रेरणा जगाने वाला है।
The Congress and TMC staged a walkout during the Prime Minister's speech. The Lok Sabha has passed the motion to thank the President for his address to both houses of Parliament.
Rajya Sabha today took up the general discussion on Union Budget 2021 and 22. BJP MP Sushil Kumar Modi, delivering his maiden speech in the upper house, said that the budget lays the roadmap to build a strong and self-reliant India. He hailed Prime Minister Narendra Modi's decision of a timely lockdown, which he said prevented loss of lives due to coronavirus. Mr. Modi said that it was commendable that despite a 23% drop in revenue collection due to COVID-19, no new tax was imposed in the budget. Comparing India with the US, he said, even when developed countries like the United States were facing challenges to extend direct financial assistance to their people, India undertook one of the largest direct fund transfer schemes benefiting large sections of the people. He said the budget is dedicated to the welfare of the poor and will boost reforms in the country. Earlier initiating the discussion, Kapil Sibal of Congress said that the budget fails to talk about the issue of unemployment. He charged the government for indulging into excessive privatization. S.R. Balabsubrahmanyam of AIADMK asked the government to reconsider the decision of levying agri-cess on fuel. Amar Patnaik of BJD said the budget is a bold initiative to bridge the fiscal deficit target. Antiyur P. Selvarasi of DMK lamented that the work for AIIMS, Madurai, has not started yet. K.R. Suresh Reddy of TRS said that the budget presentation was good, but it needs to be seen how it will be implemented. The discussion on the budget will continue tomorrow. Refuting Maharashtra government's claims that the state has been ignored in this year's union budget, former Chief Minister and BJP leader Devendra Fadnavis today said that projects worth 3.5 lakh crore have received budgetary allocation. Addressing a press conference in Mumbai, Mr. Fadnavis listed the projects in railway, roads, water resources, agriculture and infrastructure that have been earmarked to receive funds over the next year. Mr. Fadnavis informed that the union budget has proposed to allot 1.33 lakh crore rupees for roads and infrastructure projects in the state.
The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs CCEA has given its nod to a proposal of the Department of Fertilizers for grant in aid of 100 crore rupees to Brahmaputra Valley Fertilizers Corporation Limited BVFCL Namrup in Assam to sustain operations of its urea manufacturing units. BVFCL is a public sector undertaking which is situated in northeast India. It plays an important role in economic growth of the region. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that sustainable development can only be achieved through togetherness and innovation. inaugurating the World Sustainable Development Summit 2021 this evening through video conferencing. The Prime Minister said the health of the people and the health of the climate are interlinked, and these two will decide our future.
Two things will define how the progress journey of humanity will unfold in the times to come. First is the health of our people. Second, the health of our planet. Both are interlinked.
He said investment in youth is the need of the hour. The Prime Minister said the energy of the youth will lead to outstanding results. He said India is focused on human-centric approach. The Prime Minister added, change in environment and climate affects the poor the most, and India is on track to achieve the target it had set in Paris. He said India's intent is supported by concrete action. The Prime Minister said, powered by spirited public efforts, India is on track to exceed its commitments and targets from Paris. He said climate justice means giving developing countries enough space to grow when the world understands their roles and duties.
The road to fighting climate change is through climate justice. At the root of climate justice is the principle of being large-hearted. Climate justice is also about thinking of the bigger and long-term picture. Climate justice is inspired by a vision of trusteeship, where growth comes with greater compassion to the poorest. Climate justice also means giving the developing countries enough space to grow.
Speaking on the occasion, Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Prakash Javadekar, reiterated that India under Prime Minister Narendra Modi is leading the world in climate change action, and the nation is fulfilling its climate commitments and targets well before time. The theme of the summit is redefining our common future, safe and secure environment for all. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
In Uttarakhand, a team of more than 800 personnel comprising various forces, including Marines from Navy, continued rescue and search operation throughout the day at the site of calamity in Chamoli district. 2 more bodies were recovered and the death toll has reached 34. Our correspondent covering the calamity reports that around 170 people are still missing and some of them are feared to be trapped in the tunnel.
Around 170 people are still missing and 25 to 35 persons are feared to be trapped in the tunnel. The Herculean effort to reach to the trapped people throughout the slush and heavy boulders continued on 4th consecutive day at calamity site in Chamoli district. Although the team has only reached till 120 meters inside the tunnel and backflow of water is making their task more difficult. DG of ITBP SS Deshwal said that it is reported that the trapped workers could be around 180 meters deep inside the tunnel. Bad weather affected the relief work today for some time as helicopters were not able to take sorties to provide relief material to the affected neighboring villages. With Ragvesh Pandey from Dehradun, this is Sushil Chandra Tiwari for AIR News, Srinagar, Garhwal.
In Tamil Nadu, the political representatives have appealed the Election Commission officials for a single-phase election. Addressing the media after the meeting, the officials, party representatives said that postal ballots should be available for people above 80 years of age. Chief Election Commissioner Sunil Arora and Election Commissioners Sushil Chandra, Rajiv Kumar and Secretary General Umesh Sinha are in the city to review the poll preparedness. Chief Election Commissioner Arora informed the journalists that he would review the situation and brief the media tomorrow. A report.
Political leaders have expressed concern on conducting the elections in a perfect manner amidst COVID situation. BJP has appealed to the Election Commission to webcast polling at all stations. They have also suggested the polling date after the Tamil New Year's Day, which falls on April 14th. They also wanted deployment of central forces in sensitive booths. Election commissioners will meet police officials and district electoral officials and district superintendents of police also to review the ongoing preparations this afternoon. Tomorrow, there will be a meeting with the Chief Secretary and secretaries of other departments and other senior officials, and after which there will be a press conference on the highlights of the review meetings. Joy, AIR News, Chennai.
An 8-member team from the Election Commission of India, ECI, will visit Puducherry tomorrow to review the preparedness for the assembly elections to be held in April or May this year. More from our Puducherry correspondent.
The team led by the Chief Election Commissioner, Mr. Sunil Arora, with the ECI officials visited Chennai today and held discussions. After a 2-day visit, they will arrive at Puducherry tomorrow evening. The team will hold talks with the recognized political parties, DUOs, SPs, CEO, police nodal officers here, and on 12th, the team will hold a discussion with the election-related regulatory agencies, Chief Secretary, Home Secretary, and other officials. The Puducherry Election Department has made all arrangements for the discussions, and invitations were sent to all the recognized political parties here. The team comprises Election Commissioners Sushil Chandra, Rajiv Kumar, Secretary General Umesh Shinka, Deputy Election Commissioner Chandra Bhushan Kumar, and 3 more senior officials of the Election Commission. Chandra Mohan, AIR News, Puducherry.
The Ministry of Electronic and IT today said that upon the request of Twitter seeking a meeting with the government, the IT Secretary was to engage with the senior management of Twitter. In a tweet, the ministry said in this light, a blog post published by Twitter prior to this engagement is unusual. IT Ministry said the government will share its response soon. Now here is a review of proceedings in Parliament today. First from the Lok Sabha. Writer is Achinta Bora of PTI. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said his government and Parliament have great respect for the agitating farmers and made it clear that those who want to continue with the old agriculture marketing system can remain doing so. He made this observation in the Lok Sabha today while replying to the discussion on the motion of thanks on the President's address. Mr. Modi slammed the opposition Congress as a divided and confused party for its different stand in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha during the debate on farmers. The Congress members staged a walkout from the House as Modi explained the government's stand on the 3 farm laws. Members belonging to DMK and TMC also walked out of the House after the Prime Minister's address, saying they were not happy with the speech. Mr. Modi said the condition of the Congress party, which ruled the country for about 6 decades, has now become such that its Rajya Sabha unit moves in one direction while the Lok Sabha unit moves the other way. He observed that such a divided and confused party can neither do any good for itself, nor can it think of any solution to the country's problems. The Prime Minister said the NDA government has tried everything to bring changes in the country and asserted that if the intention is good, then the results will also be good. Referring to the COVID-19 pandemic, Modi said India has managed the crisis successfully despite adverse predictions, and the country has now become a ray of hope for the world. Complimenting healthcare and frontline workers for their relentless work during the pandemic, the Prime Minister said the way India has managed the coronavirus crisis is a turning point and the world has seen its success. The address of the President has showcased India's Sankalp Shakti, and his words have boosted the spirit of confidence among the people of India, infused new confidence and inspired every heart. Stating that a large number of women MPs participated in the discussion, the Prime Minister said he wanted to congratulate them for enriching the proceedings in the House with their thoughts. Soon after Prime Minister replied to the debate, Speaker Om Birla put all amendments moved by the opposition members for vote. The amendments were rejected by a voice vote. Initiating the discussion on the Union Budget 2021-22, Shashi Tharoor of the Congress alleged that people of the country have been left disappointed as the fuel prices are soaring and there was no relief in tax rates for the middle class. He said there is no relief in tax rates for the middle class. Congress leader said in the agriculture sector the budget did little to reassure farmers as a quarter of the budget for MSP has been cut. This budget has given no relief to the farmers as there is no fiscal support and neither there is diesel subsidy. Participating in the debate, Meenakshi Lekhi of the BJP congratulated Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman for presenting an excellent budget at a time of unprecedented global pandemic and lauded Prime Minister Narendra Modi for his vision of a double-digit economy. She said the first budget of this decade is a bit different because of the pandemic. This is the first budget of this decade and it will determine the path India will take during the next few years, she said. The BJP leader said capitalism is needed for the economic development of the country, like getting new technology such as 5G internet. She also slammed the Congress for doing nothing for the proper health of public sector units. Dayanidhi Maran of the DMK participating in the debate said hundreds of people lost their jobs during the coronavirus-induced lockdown and 30% of the MSMEs were closed down. He said the government should have reduced excise duty in fuel. Mr. Maran demanded a white paper on the results on the stimulus package. The discussion on general budget was continuing till the writing of the script.
And now review proceedings in Rajya Sabha. Writer is Rajesh Ahuja of UNI. The Rajya Sabha has taken up discussion on the Union Budget 2021 and 22 today. Participating in the discussion, Sushil Kumar Modi of BJP said the economists have hailed the budget as a reformist budget. He said Prime Minister Narendra Modi has ensured that a timely lockdown was enforced in the country to prevent loss of lives due to COVID-19. He said it was a budget dedicated to the welfare of the poor and boost reforms. Earlier initiating the discussion, Kapil Sibal of the Congress questioned whether the country was moving towards self-reliance as the finance minister had claimed. S.R. Balasubramaniam of the AIADMK asked the government to reconsider the agriculture cess on fuel. Amar Patnaik of the BJP, Anthiur P. Selvarasu of DMK, K.R. Suresh Reddy of the TRS, and Subhash Chandra Bose Pelli of YSRCP also participated in the discussion, which remained inconclusive. Later, the House adopted the Major Port Authority Bill 2020 in a division of voting. It seeks to provide autonomy to India's 12 major ports and improve their efficiency and competitiveness, besides creation of a board for each major port. Moving the bill for reconsideration, Minister for Shipping Mansukh Mandavia said that this bill has been brought to make important changes in the ease of doing business in the port sector and to encourage healthy competition between major ports and private ports. Initiating discussion on the bill, Shakti Singh Gohil of Congress said it was an attempt by the government to privatize the ports. Several members, including Suresh Prabhu of BJP, Sukhendu Shekhar Ray of Trinamool Congress, Subhash Chandra Singh of Biju Janata Dal, Professor Ram Gopal Yadav of Samajwadi Party, P. Wilson of DMK, Ellamaran Karim of CPI, Banda Prakash of the TRS, Professor Manoj Kumar Jha of RJD, Dr. Fauzia Khan of NCP, K. Ravindra Kumar of Telugu Desam Party, Anil Desai of Shiv Sena, Binoy Viswam of CPI, Narayan Das Gupta of Aam Aadmi Party, Ramji of BSP, Tambidurai of AIADMK, Jugal Singh Lokhandwala of BJP, Ramchandra Prasad of JDU and G.K. Vasan of TMC-M participated in the discussion. Replying to a discussion on the bill, Minister for Shipping Mansukh Mandavia said that the bill was not aimed at putting the ports in private hands. He said the government has included provisions in the bill to ensure greater autonomy to the ports. After the reply, the minister moved the bill for passage. However, members of the opposition demanded a division. 84 members voted in favour of the bill, while 44 members voted against it. That's all in the Parliament Review.
Now moving on in some more news, with the death of 185 birds, mostly poultry, spread across Thane, Akola and Aurangabad districts of Maharashtra in the last 24 hours, the state government is maintaining a high degree of alertness to ensure containment of bird flu. According to an official statement, samples are being sent to the National Institute of High Security Animal Diseases in Bhopal and Disease Investigation Section Pune for testing, and district collectors have been ordered to start destroying poultry within 1 kilometre of the infected farm. In the Australian Open tennis tournament, 8-time Australian Open winner and defending champion Novak Djokovic today defeated Francis Tiafoe 6-3, 6-7, 7-6, 6-3 in the second round. In other second-round matches of men's singles, US Open champion Dominic Thiem defeated Dominik Koepfer 6-4, 6-0, 6-2, while Denis Shapovalov beat Australian qualifier Bernard Tomic 6-1, 6-3, 6-2. Third seeded Thiem will clash next with Nick Kyrgios. In women's singles, Serena Williams continues her quest for a record 24th Grand Slam singles title as she defeated Nina Stojanovic of Serbia 6-3, 6-0 in the second round today. She will now face Anastasia Potapova in the third round in another second round match in women's single event today. Japanese sensation Naomi Osaka thwarted Caroline Garcia of France with an effortless 6-2, 6-3 straight sets victory as she raced into the third round. India endured a second successive disappointing result after Rohan Bopanna and his Japanese partner Ben McLachlan bowed out in the men's doubles today. They lost to Korean wildcard pair of Ji Sung Nam and Min Kyu Song 4-6, 6-7. Now Divij Sharan in men's doubles and debutant Ankita Raina in women's doubles are left in the fray from India.
Kausar Ali, a member of the banned terror outfit Jamaat-ul Mujahideen Bangladesh JMB, has been sentenced to 29 years of jail term in Khagragar blast case in West Bengal. A special NI court in Kolkata announced the sentence today. Kausar Ali, alias Bomaru Mizan, one of the main accused in the blast case, was arrested by NIA in August 2018 from Bengaluru. NIA had offered a price of 5 lakh rupees on his head. Khagragar blast took place in Burdwan district of West Bengal on 2nd October 2014. Ahead of the upcoming Assam Assembly election, the Assam Excise Department has conducted a series of meetings with their counterparts from the neighbouring states of Arunachal Pradesh and Meghalaya. Official sources said that there was an apprehension that clandestine inflow of liquor into the state from neighbouring states may play a role in influencing the electorate before and during the Assembly election. The Assam Excise Department has already taken initiative to keep a strict vigil to control and check the inflow of illegal liquor through interstate and international border. In this connection, recently a meeting was held by the Excise Department of Assam in connection with interstate and district coordination for enforcement of excise laws at Sonitpur between the officials of Assam and Arunachal Pradesh. The issue of illegal liquor through the interstate border, especially Assam-Arunachal Pradesh border, was discussed with an appeal to give special attention to these aspects. It was decided in the meeting to ensure the reporting of the entry and exit of every vehicle carrying consignments of liquor plying between Assam and Arunachal Pradesh.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital is likely to have fog. The temperature will hover between 9 and 29 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a clear sky. Minimum temperature will be around 19, while maximum is expected to be around 37 degrees. Chennai will witness a partly cloudy sky. The temperature will vary between 23 and 30 degrees Celsius. In Kolkata, there will be fog in the morning and partly cloudy sky later. The city will observe minimum 16 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 30 degrees. Srinagar will have a mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between -3 and 13 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have a mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature will be around 10, while maximum will be around 23. Leh will have a partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature will be around -10 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 6 degrees. Gilgit will have a partly cloudy sky. The temperature will hover between -1 and 16 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have a clear sky. Temperature will hover between 5 and 21 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asks farmers to come to the table for talks to find a solution, assures MSP and Mandi system to continue. Prime Minister says new world order is being shaped post-COVID, and it is for the people of the country to decide whether they want to take the lead in forming the new world order. The Prime Minister asserts, powered by spirited public efforts, India committed to reduce carbon emission intensity, set in Paris Agreement. Chief Election Commissioner reviews poll preparedness in Chennai, also to visit Puducherry tomorrow. In Uttarakhand, massive rescue and search operation continues in Chamoli district. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.